You've heard a lot about pirates including One Piece, Caribbean pirates, right? There are many romantic pirates in novels and movies. While watching these scenes, I dreamed of being a pirate when I was young. Even in reality, pirates exist. It's Somalian pirates. Somalia is a poor country located in Africa. The sea in front of them is a beach where ships from rich countries often pass by. Now think about it. You are the captain of this ship. A small ship comes at a high speed in the distance. Looking closely, they are armed with guns. Pirates. When they get to the ship, they try to get on the boat using ropes and ladders. What kind of response would you take in this situation? Now this time you are a fisherman in a poor country. People from other countries secretly throw garbage into your sea and run away. People from other countries secretly throw garbage into your sea and run away. At first, it was just to kick them out. You captured their boat. You got a ransom, but you got money that a fisherman would never have in his life. In this situation, are you going to be a pirate, and why? If you are a pirate, what is the plan you should prepare to pirate? If you are a pirate, what would you do if security was getting stronger? We succeeded in hijacking the ship. What would you value more, the cargo of the ship or the crew, and why? We saw the video, How Somalia's Pirates Make Money. The video showed information about why Somalia pirates started to pirate, how to pirate, and how to prevent piracy.
In the video, many reasons why Somalia has to live on piracy were given. One of them was that Somalia was devastated by civil war and could not function as a normal country. Let me give you a detailed explanation of this unfortunate history. Somalia was a Muslim country that lived like Egypt. There were camels and deserts. But the European invasion began in the late 19th century. So Somalia is divided into British Somaliland and Italian Somaliland. This territory was returned after World War II and became the Republic of Somalia in 1960. Somalia elected its first president through democratic process and implemented foreign policy that based on Somali nationalism. This was a policy to include Somali living area in its territory. Somalia's tragedy begins with the assassination of the second president. Mohamed Siad Barre was behind the assassination. He was a soldier and a communist. It was the Cold War era, and he took power in a coup with the help of the Soviet Union. Barre put a policy that prioritizes his own tribe and has been in power for 22 years. Barre took issue with Ethiopia to divert domestic discontent. There were many Somali people living in Ogaden, which was part of Ethiopia's territory, and Barre tried to incorporate the Ogaden region into Somali territory with Somali nationalism. Finally, in 1977, Barre led Somali troops to invade Ethiopia. He was promised Soviet support and put in a lot of troops and resources. But the Soviets are attacking Somalia on the Ethiopian side because Ethiopia declared socialism through a coup in 1974 and had friendly relationship with the Soviet Union. The Soviets cut off aid to Somalia, which was also in partnership with the US, and they helped Ethiopia. Finally, the Ogaden War ends with Ethiopia's victory. Somalia's economy is destroyed by this war, and coup took place again and Barre was purged. But the USC, the winner of the coup, was a coalition of tribes and organizations. Unfortunately, the power struggle began within the government and civil war began. The UN forces are also involved in the war in the name of building a stable environment in Somalia. UN forces won the war, but inside Somalia, they consider UN a threat to their power and attack UN forces. Eventually, the UN completely withdrew in 1995, and the constant civil war began in Somalia, where powerful armed groups disappeared. Islamic militants also started a war and terror. As mentioned in the video, this civil war has not ended for more than 30 years and continues to this day. Somalia is now divided into several warlord states. As an independent country, Somaliland exists in the former British Somaliland territory, but even that is not recognized as a country by the international community. This situation has completely destroyed Somalia's economy and its security. That's why people who are not protected by the state have become pirates at risk.
Now here's a Somalia who's supposed to be a pirate. He decided to become a pirate when the fish was not caught. Listen to my friend's story who was a fisherman and became a pirate. In the early 90s, his ship could catch 2 tons of fish alone in a week, but Yemeni fishers have begun to invade, and the days that he couldn't catch even half a ton a month have increased. He couldn't get help from the government force because they were engaged in a civil war. Guns were overflowing, so he bought them and just fired the Yemeni fishing boat in anger. So the Yemenis came out of the boat in fear and they gave him money to lay.
And that's how he first made $10,000 in his life. If he were a fisherman, it would have taken 8 months to a year to make this much money. So to speak, he wasn't a pirate at first. When he saw the Yemenis, he shot them and scared them, and when they gave him money, he was satisfied and sent them back. Then he caught fish again, but he started kidnapping and holding them to ransom, and it got worse and worse. Now the fishermen here are turning into pirates. After hearing his story, I decided to become a pirate as well.
I heard that money is needed to start piracy. I need an average of $3,000, but I don't have the money, so I have to find an investor.
Hi, what brings you here?
I just decided to be a pirate. I'm going to rob German cargo ships coming in this June, so I need money to buy a ship and a gun. Can you lend me $3,000?
Yes, of course, my friend, but the deal is give and take. What can you give me through this deal instead?
How about 10% of the ransom?
What, 10%? Hey, look for another investor.
Then how about 15? Okay, then 20%. It's my last deal.
Yes, of course, man. Here is the $3,000. I hope you succeed.
Alright, I got the money. Let's get ready for the piracy. I will need a gun or basketball to strengthen the crew, and I also need fast boat and 2 small high-speed boats. Guns and ships are common in Somalia, so they are easy to get. Now I need a mate to pirate with me. Somalia has no loyalty in front of money, so I will have to be careful and get a college. Hey man, why don't we go hijacking a German freighter together?
Wait a minute. Don't you think we should decide how to split our ransom?
Oh, of course. I will do the dangerous thing. Getting on the boat first. Give me another $10,000 instead.
Alright, buddy. I will watch you from behind. Alright. There's a target. Let's follow him for about 800 miles. Alright, let's take a fast boat from this distance. Everybody, get your guns. Let's go.
Alright, we have successfully kidnapped him. And shall we get the ransom now? Let's not be impatient because the longer we spend, the higher the ransom will be. First, gather the crew on deck.
Few days later.
Alright, we got a deal. 3 million per person and we have about 20 crew members, so we can make $60 million in total. Ha ha ha, we are rich now. 20% for investors, 10% for port use, and we share the rest.
Friend, hold on. But I don't like you talking $10,000 more. So why don't you share it equally with me?
What are you talking about?
Yeah? I knew it. 빵야, 빵야, 빵야.
So, you have seen the life of a pirate.
Pirate can make a lot of money if he succeeds, but piracy is not always rosy. In fact, even if they get a successful ransom, they often fight over the greed between pirates and the interests of other pirates, and they kill each other a lot.
So I thought about what would be the fundamental solution to stop Somali piracy. In 2012, Somalia eventually declared a federal system in its continued civil war. There is also a ray of hope in Somalia, which seems hopeless. It's Somaliland. Although it has not yet been recognized as a nation, Somaliland is a northern country in Somalia which declared independence in 1991. They have their own army and police, and also their currency as well. They elected the president through a peaceful vote for 27 years. Children can go to school and women have begun to enter society. The security has also been stabilized a lot. They were not able to live this stable life from the beginning. They carried weapons from civilians to children just like any other federal country. But in 1993, through the Burma meeting, all civilian weapons were returned to the UN. Only soldiers and police were allowed to carry weapons. They did what no one wanted to do first, and so Somaliland is quite stable now. Here's a hint of a fundamental solution to stopping piracy in Somalia. NATO's Ocean Shield operation, sailor self-armed solution etc. may be effective, but they cannot be fundamental solutions. The fundamental solution is to let Somalia's fishermen who became pirates know again that they can survive without piracy. It is important to create a society where you can live without piracy. To stabilize society in Somalia, we need to take steps. Here's our point in order for Somalia to stabilize. First, we need a unified government like Somaliland. The inauguration of a new unified government will have positive effects in many ways. Due to the civil war, Somalia has very little infrastructure such as hospitals and schools. In order for a unified government to take office, it would be a good way to return civilian weapons from all federal countries just like Somaliland. If the civil war is stopped and a unified government is established, infrastructures such as hospitals and schools, which are the basis for national development, will be built and society will be stabilized. Also, corrupt officials are responsible for Somalia's people's hard lives. They often only live in money, and even ships from other countries can fish in Somali waters because corrupt officials are in conclusions with them. It would be a better society if the new unification government eradicates corrupt local officials and selects innocent civil servants. Second, we need to stabilize the problematic coast. Somalia has developed its army through a long civil war, while there are few navies. They need to build a unified government and strengthen the navy. Unlike Ethiopia, where coffee and potatoes are grown and sold, Somalia is not an agricultural country because most of its land is desert. Less than 2% of the land area can be grown. There was no agricultural blessing in Somalia, but fortunately there was a blessing in fishing. The coastline of Somalia is very long. The amount of fishing coming out of the long coastline was enormous, until several companies dumped their waste there and swept the fish off their shores. The reason why their immoral behavior was possible was because they didn't have a navy. If they foster a strong navy to protect their country and the sea, they will be able to protect the fish, and Somalia fishermen will be able to grab nets instead of guns.
The third is to reversely take advantage of the geographical requirements that allow them to pirate. Ships to and from Europe and Asia have no choice but to use the Suez Canal, which connects the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, because they have to travel through Africa. That's why the Gulf of Aden, located on the coast of Somalia, became a pirate attraction. Let's use this the other way around. The fact that there are so many ships for privacy means that there are so many ships passing by, meaning that it is a major transportation point. The Gulf of Aden is the point of transportation. The Suez Canal will shorten the distance a lot, but ships will have to sail with supplies of daily necessities, oil and other items. Somalia can be the important place of supplying these items. They can supply supplies to ships passing through the Gulf of Aden, and that's where they will benefit. Considering that most ships from Europe and Asia pass in front of the Gulf of Aden, the supply business could bring huge profits. The first is to get help from many companies and countries. If society is stabilized after the establishment of a unified government, manufacturing industries based on cheap labor costs like many developing countries could develop. Their GDP is $104 a year. That means they can be hired at a low price. Everyone will be reluctant to build factories in the country when the country is unstable due to the civil war. But if society is stable and labor costs are cheap, many factories can be built. As the Suez Canal, which is a major transportation point, is nearby, it also has geographical advantages. It is to build a factory based on cheap labor cost and receive technology. When technology is passed down with manufacturing, Somalia could grow rapidly. Like this, we've come up with these fundamental solutions: establishing a unified government, fostering the navy, changing the Gulf of Aden's perception, and technical assistance could be the solution. We've learned about Somalia pirates through this video. Somalia pirates seem to have no choice but to become pirates. Geographical requirement, which is being near the Suez Canal and a life devastated by a long civil war, have driven them to pirates. We've seen through the pirate's life that being a pirate can bring you lots of money, but can also drive you to a dangerous situation. We've also thought about solutions to eradicate piracies which aren't going away easily. Thank you for watching the video.